Okay, cool. Oh, sorry. Here we go. There. Okay. So my name is Adriana, and I'm going to be teaching you guys all about how to capture leads with social media today. So I think, is Mara, are you?
Sorry.
Okay.
How's it going, guys? We all having fun? Okay, I'm just gonna do a quick check-in before Adriana takes it away. As she was saying, she is going to teach you guys all about capturing leads with social media, which is really fun and exciting. It's a great way to get your lead sources flowing at not too high of a dollar amount, which is great. Brianne, you want to get us started with your accountability? How were your open houses this weekend?
Open house went good. Had several people come through. It was a little bit of a slower one. Several people came in. Not very many people seemed super interested, but did some follow up today with the people that gave their info. So added them to my command, and yeah, plan on following up some more.
Awesome. Great job. April, what about you?
I had two this weekend. Saturday was I had a lot more people. Sunday I had no one show up.
Oh,
So
bummer. Well, that's good that one of
yeah,
them was at the same house or two different houses?
two different houses.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it'll be good to compare then what you think may have been different between one and the other.
Yeah.
Excellent. Alex, what about you?
I had open house on Sunday and I had two people show up and they were both currently looking, so they were pretty good leads, but it was only two, so not a whole lot, but they were good leads.
Hey, if you get one good lead out of an open house, that's successful. So that's great.
Yeah.
Bella?
I didn't do any open houses or anything yet. I'm still super new.
Yeah, did you start spreading the word about getting into real estate or anything yet?
I'm going to. I want to make my business cards with like a QR code on it to my website. So I'm gonna get all that figured out. It's super exciting for me.
Awesome. Great job. And Allie?
I did one open house yesterday, and I think it was the busiest one I've ever hosted. It was 3 hours, and we had 2 or 3 groups of people in the entire time for the entire 3 hours. So it was great. Yeah, and then this morning I went and dropped off some physical goodies for people in my sphere to kind of stay top of mind. So I spent my morning doing that, just catching up with folks and dropping off some stuff with them with my business card and my stickers and stuff. So
Great job. That's super exciting. Julio?
Yeah, I had my first open house this weekend on Sunday,
Great.
but I had no attendees, unfortunately, but it was a good learning experience.
Probably took off some of the nerves of
Yeah,
next
for
time you'll
sure.
be ready.
Yeah.
Awesome. Ashlyn?
Hi. First of all, if you guys hear anything crazy, it's my dog snoring.
You're
But
okay.
I am still recovering from being sick over the weekend, but I decided to do some social media prospecting instead,
Great.
which is going good. I did some follow-ups as well, got some more people in line for the start of next year. So feeling good about that at least.
Great. And I won't put him on the spot, but welcome Sung Choi to the KW family. He's our newest agent out of Sunset Corridor. So this is his very first class. And typically what we start the class off is just kind of checking in on our accountability, making sure we're making contacts and if we're setting any appointments or anything like that. So welcome. All right, without further ado, we have Adriana today. She is one of our agent service coordinators and Market Center Tech Trainer at Keller Williams Sunset Corridor. She earned her bachelor's degree in business communication from the University of California, San Diego, along with a digital marketing certification from their extended studies division. Before joining Keller Williams Sunset Corridor, Adriana worked as an escrow assistant in Los Angeles County for 2 years. She is passionate about technology, marketing, and helping agents grow their business presence online. Outside of KW, Adriana enjoys volunteering with Girl Scouts, attending concerts, and traveling to new places. So you guys could not be in better hands for today's content, and I will let her take it away.
Thanks, Mara.
Absolutely.
All right. So yeah, like Mara said, today I'm going to be going over how to capture leads with social media. So let's get started. Okay. So first off, here's just like a quick course overview. So last class was how to capture leads with open houses. Today we're going to talk about social media. So here's just a general overview of what we're going to kind of go over today. So our agenda, we're going to cover how to capture leads using social media, review your 10-5-1 engagement plan, and then we're also going to go over the 80-20 principle and see some other strategies of how you can employ these on social media. So let's see, by the end of the day, we're going to be able to, like I said, employ the 10-5-1 engagement system to connect with your network. You're going to be able to explain the importance of limiting your social media posts to only 20% of your business content. And then we're also going to be able to identify social media engagement strategies that add value to people in your network. So to start thinking about what you're going to learn today, let's first consider the questions you might have and what you'd like to learn more about. So any questions you might have just coming in, or things that you know off the top of the head that you want to learn more about regarding social media. I'll take 2 answers. Feel free to come off mute. We don't have any questions about social media. No one's excited about social media.
Adriana, are we talking about like the do's and don'ts of social media, or are we talking about like
Yeah.
content calendar?
It's like anything in general. So like, do you even know what
I
content?
personally already know the do's and don'ts, so I'm excited to hear about social media strategies.
Thanks, Ashley. Okay, so we'll definitely get into that. And then again, we're just going to cover like the basics. So if you have any questions throughout the presentation too, just let me know. And we can go ahead and go over those. So let's go to the next slide. Okay, can I get someone to volunteer to read the quote on the screen?
It takes time to learn something more, time to implement it, and even longer to approach mastery of it.
Perfect. Thanks, Alex. So as we begin this process, there's going to be some questions that you have about just in general, how to learn something, how long it takes to implement it, and even longer to approach mastery of it. So what, I guess, experience do you guys have learning something? Like, is there an example that you can give me of something that you had to take the time to learn and you're on your way to kind of mastering it? You know, as real estate agents, there's a time.
Definitely the lead generating. I kind of am learning the ropes of it and learning the social media. I'm just kind of having a little trouble with like approaching, I guess. But yeah, it's something that I definitely need work, and I've been working on it. So that's one of those learning experience things where I just got to keep going at it, and eventually I'll not master it, but I'll get better at it.
Mhm. That's a great example, especially with lead generation. Like it's something you have to do, and you just, the more you do it, the more you get used to it. And yeah, maybe you won't master it like you say, but you're going to get to the point where it's just second nature and it's super easy for you. You don't even have to think twice about it. So our goal is to kind of get you into that mindset with social media. So let's see. Again, I just want to put it out there real quick. Just make sure that all your social media marketing, any type of marketing in general, is TCPA compliant, and also just has all of your Market Center logo on it. So if you're a part of the Keller Williams Sunset Corridor, anyone in our network or just KW in general, make sure you have those logos on there. And then the next slide. So here's just a quick overview again at our agenda. We're going to start off with the 10-5-1 engagement system. So does anyone know already what the 10-5-1 engagement system is? You can just raise your hand for this one. Okay, so we got Alex, cool. So we're going to go over it in a few slides. It's basically a part of kind of like an engagement system that you can use to a tool for you essentially, that you can use to track your engagement on social media. We're going to dive deep and explore tools for success within this system. So every day, this is the next page. It starts off with the 10 likes or loves. So every day you're going to go ahead and either like or love 10 social media posts. So depending on the platform, they call it something differently. I know on Instagram, it's like a like, for example. But you're basically going to go through your feed and make sure you like or love to at least 10 posts per day. This is something quick and easy that you can do and something you've probably already been doing just naturally. So it's super easy to just do it and think about it more strategically in a way. So social media in general is a fantastic tool and it's free to use when it comes to marketing and prospecting. There is also the paid version, but right now we're going to start with just the free version. And it's important to be active on your social media platforms of choice because it's going to help you generate more business, get your name out there, and just let people kind of in to see what you're doing. So how does interacting with others on social media help build your business? Does anyone have an example of how posting on social media might help your business?
One of the buyers I'm working with right now is from social media. And it's just from reposting stuff and staying consistent with it, really.
That's awesome, actually. I think Ali, you were gonna say something too?
Yeah, I was gonna say it keeps you top of mind. The more you post, the more the algorithm and you interact with others, the more the algorithm is gonna like you. So it'll make your posts more visible. And yeah, so others can find you. I've had comments and likes and follows from people I don't know and that live across the country just because they've been finding some of the stuff that I've been putting out there.
Yeah, that's great. That's exactly what we're going to go into. So thank you for that. So I put kind of like 4 ways that I thought of too that interacting with social media can help you build your business. The first, kind of like Ali said, is brand awareness. So especially as a real estate agent, you are basically your brand. Like you need to get yourself out there, get your name out there, get your picture out there, because that's how people are going to recognize you. I know some agents also have like their own logos. So putting that on everything as well. And staying consistent, maybe with like a color palette if you're interested in that. I know some people have like things that colors that they use in their logo, they like to use on their flyers and business cards, things like that. So just having something that stays consistent, both on social media and off. There's also event awareness. So if you're hosting an event for your clients, or I know we have one, for example, coming up at Sunset Corridor, it's a trunk or treat event. So we have agents signing up and you're just going to dress up in a costume, pass out candy, and invite all your clients to come out. So that would be a good example for something that you can post on social media. Hey, come to our trunk or treat event. That's going to get people, coming to your event. It's going to get them to see you on their feed, things like that. There's also to advertise like a listing or an open house. So that's literally your business, selling and buying houses. Putting out what you do is going to help people kind of associate, okay, if I have a real estate need, I'm going to go to Ashlyn because I see her post about like this open house that she did this weekend. And through that is the fourth one where you can attract buyers and listings. Like Ashlyn said too, she got a client through social media already. So something she's doing right. People want to work too with people that are like them. So if they go to your social media page and they see that maybe you're posting about you like going to the beach a lot, or maybe you have a dog, different things like that, people find commonalities, and it could be something super big, something super small, but they're going to kind of associate you and think of you a certain way based off of the things that you're posting. If you're posting things that I relate to a lot, I'm probably going to like you more, and it's going to make me want to interact with you. So that could be similar interests. Maybe you have a similar lifestyle overall, if you come from a similar background. And it kind of also, hopefully, sets the stage that if they see all your posts on social media and they like you from that, they probably will be a little bit better to work with you because you're probably more compatible. So hopefully it's something that you'll get along and work well together. So now the second part of the 10-5-1 engagement plan is going to be the 5 comments. So this is when you connect with your market by reaching out with comments. So like we said earlier, the 10 minimum likes per day, you're going to want to put at least 5 comments or direct messages per day. You're not going to write like a whole essay. It could be something like super simple. Just a few words of encouragement, congratulations, or admiration are great. So if you see someone in your sphere, maybe they're celebrating birthday or they just moved to a new house. Just saying something, oh, congratulations, and something nice, I like to think of it too. If it's not nice or helpful in any way, maybe don't comment it. Be aware of your digital footprint and how it could affect you and your business later on in both good and bad ways. And this goes for both public and private remarks, just because you can't really assume that something's going to stay private as soon as you post it online. We like to think that, but screenshots exist, and so do recordings and things like that. So just be aware of what you're putting out there, because if it's on the internet, it's up there forever at this point. And it's really easy to overthink too, like, what should I comment on this post? How do I word it perfectly and things like that? How many emojis should I put? And I think it's just important to come from a frame of mind that you just want to be nice and spread positivity and optimism. Maybe think into what your brand is like already. Do you want to come off as someone who's very playful and fun and energetic? Or do you want to come off as someone who's a bit more professional and very like formal? The ways that you respond to comments is going to portray a version of you to people out there. So I like, for example, I'm somebody who puts like a ton of exclamation marks on everything. I'm very like positive and playful with things. I'm not super serious when it comes to that. So I'm the type of person who's going to use a ton of exclamation marks. I'm probably going to have emojis on there. A lot of like, oh, congrats, I'm so excited for you, things like that. So just think about that and how it kind of portrays you as well. It'll help people kind of relate to you on a better level. Can someone give me an example of maybe a social media post that recently made you feel seen or heard, or something you put out that someone commented on. So maybe like a nice message somebody left you. Or if you don't have any, a comment that somebody left or you left for them.
It's actually something I need to work on is my social media because I don't post much, so I don't really get much comments.
Okay.
But I did comment on one of my buddies' posts. He got a new bike, a new motorcycle, and I told him it was a nice bike and uh that I liked the way that or the color that it had, the color scheme. It was like a black and red camo.
Oh, nice. That was good. I'm sure you appreciated it, and it definitely probably brought you up to mind again. So I don't know if it's someone who you're in contact with a ton, or if it's someone you just kind of pass by every so often. That definitely brought you up to mind, and that's a good thing. It's always exciting too when, if people are posting about it, that means they're excited about it. Most of the time, people are posting kind of like highlights about themselves. People don't often post the negative things in their life. So if it's out there and it's a positive thing, that means they're really excited about it. And they're definitely going to appreciate you liking and commenting on it. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. So to finish off our 10-5-1 engagement system, we're going to leave off with one original post. So this is to get people thinking about you when your post pops up on their feed. Every day, you should also create one original post, share someone else's post, or direct message someone. So when you share someone else's post, so it'll be things like maybe community engagement, events coming up, or maybe a fundraiser or a quote that really speaks to you. Think about the uniqueness that you intend to bring to someone else's feed. So maybe instead of just reposting that quote from the page, repost it with a little caption that says something about you or why you related to it. Or if it's an upcoming community event, maybe reposting it with something like, oh, I'll see you there, like I'll be here at this booth or, at this time, this area. Just letting people know not just the content you're sharing, but a little bit of information why you shared it. There's also the direct messages, also known as DMs, is good too, because it's something that's a little bit more private. It's off the public page, and it seems, I think it's more like comparable to maybe like a text message. People tend to think, or at least I think, it's something that's a little bit more effort than just posting publicly because you personally went to their page, wanted to send them a message, and it's something that they know is specifically for them that is coming from you. And it doesn't have to be something that's like, again, a crazy essay, just something nice. And going back to the original post, it could be, again, every day posting something original of yours. Like if you take a picture, that might be hard, but you can always repost things from other pages as well. Even if it's something that maybe someone in your database posted, maybe they're excited about an event they're throwing and you're helping them get people to their event. There's actually a term called UGC, which is user generated content in digital marketing. And it's basically a way for brands to share their followers' content on their own pages. So you as a brand, as a realtor, you could share someone in your database, like I mentioned, the event that they're hosting. And that's a way for you to share an original piece of content that you didn't have to go out and make yourself. You don't have to make that post. You don't have to host that event. All you're doing is sharing somebody else's work. So it's an easy way for you to get something out, especially like in Instagram stories or Facebook stories, for example. You can repost it on there and it'll pop you up at the very top of the feed. So that way your picture and your name are always up on everyone else's feed or all your followers' feeds. So they're always seeing you, whether it's something that you're posting organically or something that you're reposting. There's also a great example like giveaways. A lot of people do giveaways, or maybe they do a raffle or a contest. Definitely be compliant. So make sure you're following all the rules and things, and check with your PB if you have any questions. They'll be able to help answer how you can kind of go around these things. And yeah, so that's basically the gist of the 10-5-1 engagement system. We're going to go on to the next part. Okay, actually before that, do we have any ahas or questions about 10-5-1 engagement system? Is anyone kind of doing this already naturally? Maybe hands. Alex. Okay, so it's pretty new for all of you then. So maybe just take like the next week, for example. Try to be more intentional about the things that you're doing on social media. Maybe take like 30 minutes per day. I mean, most of the time nowadays, people are on social media anyways, just scrolling and stuff. So why not make it intentional? Make it something for your business that you can be proud of and be like, hey, I spent this much time on social media helping grow my business. And I'm sure you'll see the results to come in time. So now that we have that part out of the way, we're going to go into posting practice. So with posting practice, we're going to talk about the 80-20 principle. So you might have heard this already for other things, but in this case, the 80-20 posting practice is that 80% of your posts are going to be personal posts and 20% is going to be business related ones. So only 80% of your post should, or 80% of your post should be something other than real estate, because otherwise people are just going to get tired and they're going to feel that maybe you're being a little too pushy or too salesy. If I post everything like, oh my God, come buy real estate. I'm a real estate agent. Do you know anyone? Send me referrals, things like that. It gets like a bit much. So you want to be intentional about the things you're posting and make sure that 80% of it is just about you personally as a human being. So that kind of equates to 1 out of every 5 posts should be business related, meaning the 4 out of those 5 should be personal. Can someone explain why you think this is important? I kind of did a little bit. Or has anyone seen maybe someone out there who kind of puts too much? It doesn't have to be real estate.
I definitely post too much business and I have a hard time changing. I just am a very private personal person in general, so putting personal stuff out there is very cringy sometimes, but I keep telling myself I'm gonna do it, and now I'm gonna say it out loud to you guys, so I actually do it.
Yeah, I love that, Ashlyn. And it is hard. I'm kind of the same way. I don't really post a ton on my social media, but it doesn't have to be about you specifically, like, you know, what's going on in your life. It could just be something you enjoy doing. I love posting pictures of my cats, for example. You'll see my cats all over my feed. I like traveling. So when I go somewhere, I'm not really in the pictures most of the time, but I'll take pictures of the scenery. Or if you go to, I know there's a lot of like fall activities happening right now. That's a great way to kind of post something, maybe go to a pumpkin patch or I don't know, like a cider house, something fun and fall related. You don't have to be in the picture, just post that you're there. And that'll kind of be helpful in a way because it'll show people, hey, there's this new spot that I've never heard of. I didn't know that this place existed. Maybe I should check it out. So it's kind of helpful in a few different ways. It's getting something about you out and it's a personal post. It's not business related. and it's sharing something valuable to your followers. It's showing them that you are in the community, you're out there. Maybe they'll even see you out and about. You can tag the business if you want as well. I know some businesses will even repost what other people post. So it's mostly important because it's a way of how you can create authenticity and just remind people that, you know, you're a human being, you're not just a salesperson, you know. I feel like car salesman is a really good example. They just come off super pushy and people always seem to have like a view of them. But in this case, your business is people, essentially. So you want to come off as that people person, and you want people to be able to relate to you. And one of the easiest ways in doing that is to create those connections and find those commonalities with people. You know, buying and selling a house is a huge milestone for most people. And it's probably like one of the most stressful times of most people's lives. And they want someone who they can trust has their best interests in mind. So creating that authenticity, that just human aspect, especially when it comes to social media, because everything's like online nowadays. Posting something personal about you and maybe something you've done, it could be your interests, is going to get people to relate to you on a human level rather than just see you as an image on their screen. So it's good to be intentional about that. And it also, hopefully, again, help you generate more authentic and motivated clients because they see that you're someone who lives in their area, who is doing business in their area, and they like what you're putting out there. So again, kind of like we were talking about, there's different types of personal interest posts. So like I mentioned, I post all of my cats, so my pets. If you're into like art or some kind of, you know, crafting thing, I know some people like crochet's been getting pretty popular, or at least I've been seeing that a lot everywhere. Cooking, baking, again, we're in the fall season. There's a ton of, you know, people making holiday foods or holiday desserts. Even if it's not you making it, you could always repost a recipe that you saw that you think looks really good, or you might want to try. There's people who are really into fitness, exercising, working out. I know hiking is like super big here. If you go on a hike, tag where you're at, maybe after the hike for safety reasons, but you know, just get places out there. Live music, if you go to a concert, maybe, you know, if you have an extra ticket to a concert, you can offer that out to your database. Be like, hey, I have an extra ticket to, you know, there was like a Green Day concert a few days ago. I have an extra ticket to Green Day. Does anyone like want to come with me? That's a good way to get people interacting with you. They're definitely gonna comment for concert tickets. And again, team sports. Right now, football's huge. If you have an extra ticket to a football game, or if you have a favorite team, you just want to post about them. We have, you know, the Ducks and the Beavers, those are big here. So just posting things, even if it's not, you know, something you would do naturally, just be more intentional about it. So think about sharing more things. And then here with our 20%, these are our business posts. So these ones are more, again, self-promotion or posts about your business specifically. So you have things like listings. If you have a new listing, make sure you put something out about it. If you're doing an open house, post maybe like on a Wednesday or Thursday, hey, I'm doing this open house on the weekend, come through, and then day of, make sure you post like a story. You can show the house. There's also, if you do any like speaking events, I know a lot of people do, what's called, like buyer seminars, or they'll bring out like a loan officer and go over, you know, the process of like a mortgage and a loan. So if you're doing any events too, make sure you're posting those out. Let's see. You can also post things like inspirational quotes that are a little bit more business related. So like even the one that we read earlier this class from Gary Keller, you can post something like that, just something motivational. Does anyone have an example of maybe another type of business post that you can create to help increase your engagement on social media?
You can do like an educational post. I've seen people post the area pro stats and talking about the market.
Yeah, that's a really good one. I like those too. There's sometimes I'll read them and I'm like, wow, that's something new I didn't even know. But especially the market stats, I feel as well, are super popular. And there's people that will take it and they'll share it with, their own family members and things like that. And then hopefully that leads to you getting a call. Hey, I saw this on your social media page, or my cousin let me know that, you're a real estate agent, things like that. There's also different types of posts, like one we have here is an event called Red Day. And it's basically one day, it's a Thursday in May. It's either the second or third one. I don't know off the top of my head. But every Keller Williams goes out of the office and does a volunteer day, essentially. And that's almost like a 2-for-1, because it's something business related. You're going out and doing something as part of Keller Williams as a real estate agent, but it's also a bit of like a personal one, in the sense that it's something you're doing for your community. It's something that, you probably have a passion for. If you're going to come volunteer, you're wanting to help out the communities in your area. There's also, I've seen a ton of like day in the life of, maybe a realtor. You can just post what happens during an inspection. It might not be the most interesting thing to you, but if I'm not a real estate agent, I don't know what actually happens during that. People are super curious and just nosy in general. So everyone wants to know like kind of what happens. Maybe you post about the process of your open house. It could be like a time lapse thing. You can set up your phone, put out some signs, and just see you going around the house. Different things. I think people in general are just really curious people, or curious beings. So it's always fun to kind of see what everyone else is doing. There's also, I've seen like social media challenges you can do. I saw one that was like a realtor 30-day social media challenge, and they gave you like a list of something to post every day for 30 days. That might be a great kind of idea for you to look at. And maybe you're not the type that wants to post all that in 30 days, but maybe you could stretch it out a bit, make it 2 months. It'll just give you posting ideas. So that's something good to look at too. And then kind of off that topic, I know there's some title companies as well that have social post ideas already. So they have like a list of things that you could post. So that's the 80-20. And then this is to go above and beyond. There's a 10% community service. So kind of going back to like that Red Day thing, for example, to go over the top, you want to give 110% and be the real expert real estate agent of choice. So consider making an extra 10% of your posts be kind of public service, kind of crossover posts. So it'll kind of show you as someone knowledgeable of the area that you're selling in, and they'll kind of look to you as a resource. So it's good to be active in the community and inform your database and the people that follow you on social media of important public service updates. It's a great way to be of service to many people at once. So maybe there's like a property tax increase coming soon in your neighborhood or your county. If there's a school closure, I know when the weather's really bad, a lot of schools will close, but sometimes there might be one that stays open for some reason. If there's food banks or animal shelters in need, or places that are looking for more volunteers, especially if it's something that you're already doing and you're already passionate about, posting that is helping you get people to reach out to you, but it's also helping that community service project that you're involved in as well. Especially in times of challenges and crisis, agents can be helpful members and bright spots in their community. I know when we had that like ice storm earlier in the year, we had some agents that actually went out and they would drive supplies to people in need. They would help at shelters. They put out posts, hey, if you need something, reach out to me. I'll see what I can do and get, if you need somewhere warm to stay, if you need food, water, things like that, is your electricity out? How can you be of service to them as well? And that's something that really, resonates with people. If you help someone in a time of need, they're going to be so grateful to you. And hopefully it's going to keep you in mind and they're going to have a stronger connection with you. So you'll be able to be that expert realtor of choice for them. And they'll be able to refer you out to other people, to their family members, to their friends. They'll know that they have something really good to talk about when relating to you, when they talk to their family members. Like, hey, Bella helped me out in this time of need. Like, she's so sweet, super helpful. She can totally help you buy your house, even if you're not the one, like if it's a community project, for example, even if you're not the one that is running the food pantry, go to the food pantry's page and post that volunteers needed post that they just put up. Put links and resources and other helpful information to spread awareness. It's great to post on your stories, especially because I feel like the stories are always at the top. So it's a lot easier to do things that are timely up there. And can even be fun and upcoming events too in the community. So I know, again, there's a lot of fall things going on. So I've seen some like Hillsborough Oktoberfest things that are going on. Pumpkin patches are a big one. I think sharing kind of the timely events really works because it's something that, you only have this much time to do, because pumpkin patches or most aren't like year round. It's like a really big fall thing. So getting those resources and links, putting that ticket link in there so that they know where to get a ticket. Or you could even be like, hey, just write out a caption. If you're interested in going, let me know. Maybe you have like a promo code or you're willing to help get them tickets for a discount, something like that. Is there any examples that you guys can give me of maybe another version of a helpful information that you can post on social media? Something that you have posted or are thinking of possibly posting?
Possibly tips and reminders for like how to take care of your home now that the weather and seasons are changing.
Yeah, I really like that one. I've seen those before, like around this time and as it gets colder. And there's so many things that I did not know you're supposed to be doing. So now I'm like, oh man, I have to check my dryer. What do you mean? So yeah, it's super helpful to be resourceful. Even those types of posts, I'm the type of person, I'll screenshot that and I'll keep it on my phone and I'll like put a little favorite on it so I can go back to it later. And that's great too, because chances are if you posted it April and I screenshot it, I'm going to have your little info from your social media page on my screenshot. So next time I look at it, it's going to remind me of you again too. That's a really good example. All right. So now we're going to go into just our ahas about the 80-20% posting strategy and the 10% extra. So did anyone learn anything new or have any questions about what we just went over? Has anyone like thought about this already? Like they're very strategic about business versus personal posts, or is that a new thing to think about?
Kind of been thinking about it, but just putting my social media posts out there has been a little challenging for me. I'm not really social media savvy, so I've been trying to work on it and just slowly I've been posting more on my story, but I've been just doing mainly just business on my story. But now that I kind of see the 80-20% rule. I'm gonna start posting about my daily life and just things I like in general.
Yeah. Awesome. So hopefully you'll take this kind of in hand with the 10-5-1. So you're posting things that are about you or about your business, and you're also reaching out to other people and interacting with their posts as well. So now we're going to go into the social media strategies. So we kind of talked a little bit about it through our engagement system and the 80-20% posting. Here we're going to get a little bit more specific. So you now know the numbers of how often you should be posting, and the 80-20 practice of should help you guide of what types of posts and when to make these posts. But now we're going to look at some more strategies to employ when increasing engagement on social media. So if you're like most people and use social media every day, you can kind of think of it as a 365 touch system. So there is a lot of social media channels available. So things like Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, Snapchat, LinkedIn, there's a ton. And the important thing to note is that different strategies will apply to different platforms. And also, just remind yourself, just because it's available and there's this many social media platforms doesn't mean that you have to have an account and use all of them. It's good to kind of focus on maybe 2 to 3 platforms, I would say, and really grow those. Especially now, I think probably the top 2 are going to be Instagram and Facebook. I know TikTok's really big too. So if you're into video content, that one's a great one to do. But probably Facebook and Instagram are going to be the most commonly used ones. So it's a good way to help you connect with people you know or have met in one way, shape, or form. So if it's someone that you bumped into, maybe an old friend, and you don't have them, adding them to your social media. Or maybe a family member made a new account, add that one too. Someone you met at an event that you went to. It's a good way to just keep people in your sphere, see what they're up to, have them see what you're doing. It's good to, like we mentioned, post about your neighborhood or the community that you work in. People want updates. They want to see what's happening, especially if it's someone who's moving from one city to the next. They want to see what's going on in that city that they're interested in. Using images. So posting, the pictures on your story, on your feed. Congratulating new homeowners. If you get a buyer that just bought a house, it's their, especially first-time home buyers, feel like they're super excited to have their first house. So asking them, hey, can we take a picture of you like in your house, hold, my sign or like a sold sign, something like that. That's always fun. Again, your listings, get that out there, let people know what you're trying to sell. And also just engaging with people on there as well. So we're going to talk about how to highlight your business. So you have to create posts that highlight your business. And when you do this, think about hyper-local information. So again, where do you want to be doing business? Maybe you're doing a lot in Hillsborough, but you want to be doing more business kind of in Beaverton, Portland, that area. Think about who the people in your database are and where you want to be doing that business, because that's going to help you determine, what type of information are you putting out there. If you're someone who just wants to work in, Oregon and maybe Southwest Washington, you're just like all over the place. Yeah, I'm willing to drive this far and everything. You can do like statewide posts, things like that. But I think people have a better time doing something more hyper local. So it's good to keep current and also potential customers aware of the latest market trends. So again, use Area Pro, things like that, to show them what's happening in those neighborhoods. So that way you can kind of position yourself as an expert while providing valuable information to your audience. It's also good to utilize tech developments. So explain or that, you know, you have a KW app as a Keller Williams agent. You have an app that your clients can download, and it'll have your info, and they can go ahead and search houses. They can favorite it. They can make a list of, you know, the houses that they like. There's also a ton of customizable templates in Command that you can use to, if you have a new listing, if you have an open house. We also have Michael Lewis Marketing Suite as part of our network. So that's super easy to just use those templates, plug in your information, and post those things on social media. Your KW agent site is another one too. You have an agent site that's literally all your information. People can go to it, again, search for things. You can create custom pages with like a mortgage calculator. Maybe you have your preferred vendors. So if anyone's looking for an electrician or a plumber, you can just tell them, hey, here's my website. I have a list right here. Go ahead, talk to these people. Tell them that they got your info from me, you know? There's also like a home valuation tool. So people can go and search up, you know, what's their estimated home worth. And when they do that, it actually sends you a notification in Command telling you, hey, Adriana just looked at your website. This is her property. And it gives you a chance to go out and reach out and be like, hey, I saw you used my home valuation tool. Why don't we meet up sometime and I can help you get something like super accurate, because this is kind of more a general one, you know? So it gives you that opportunity to reach out and make that appointment with them. And then also, don't be afraid of posting client testimonials. You know, word of mouth recommendations in the real estate industry and just the world in general are huge. You know, if someone is putting out a client testimony, that means they really, really liked you. A lot of times it's way easier to write a negative review about something than it is to write a positive review. So if someone's taking the time to write that positive review about you, that means they genuinely liked you and the experience that you created for them. So don't be afraid to post that. It's great for referrals. If people see that, you know, you have like a 5-star rating and you have like 20 reviews, you know, it makes you seem a lot more authentic than someone who has like, you know, a bunch of negative reviews and things like that. It also builds credibility. It makes it seem like you're a good agent, you're good in business, you know what you're doing. I like to recommend too creating a Google My Business profile. If you're not familiar with that, it's just like when you go on Google and you search a business or something, it'll be like on the desktop, that right side little pop-up that shows, and it'll show like your name, your pictures, it'll show the reviews there, all the things. So Google My Business is a really good one. It's free, it's super easy to do. You can have it set to the office. So that way people know that this is where you do business. You can put even like hours that you're open. So maybe hours that you would want people to reach out to you. And it's a good way to, especially with the hours thing, to kind of like set yourself up for success. You don't want people calling you at like 6 a.m. So put maybe I start work at 9 to 5 or whatever. But it's good to have set those expectations with people. So from those hours, you're probably going to respond fast, but if it's outside of those hours, you might not. You'll be able to post pictures on there. You can post pictures of the office on there, of you, of your logo, different things like that. It's good to ask, you know, previous clients that you've had, or if you are barely starting, you don't have that many, ask your close family and friends, people that you've worked with at other jobs before. Anyone really who can vouch for you as a person and your credibility, your work ethic, anything like that. They don't, you know, obviously don't ask people to put like a fake review. That's not the best. But just have someone, you know, I used to work as an escrow assistant. So I could just be like, yeah, Adriana was super hardworking and got everything done on time. She's always checking in with me, blah, 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 like something generic, you know, but it still relates to what you're doing now. So it doesn't have to be that I'm asking or writing a review for April, and it doesn't mean that she sold a house that I had. It could just be, I know her as a great person. I've worked with her before. So I could just be, yeah, again, she's super hardworking. Was there every step of the way. And, you know, she had all the resources, things like that. So just asking people that already know and love you to write nice things about you. It's a lot easier. And then once you kind of get into that rhythm, it'll hopefully make it easier as well for you to ask your clients once you help them buy or sell homes. And again, pictures of happy clients who give permission is super fun too. So get them to take that picture, be like, can I take this picture for you, and ask if you can post it on your socials. That's always good as well. So now we're gonna talk about don't post and ghost. So another important thing to remember is to make sure that you don't post and ghost. You know, if someone sent you a comment, for example, it could be on like a picture that you posted, or maybe they sent you a DM. If it's a long comment, especially, maybe consider sending them a direct message. But if someone else took the time to write a comment on something you posted, it's good and a good strategy to take the time to write something back. I know on Facebook and Instagram, for example, you can also like a comment or leave like a little reaction on the comment. That's always fun too, especially if it's something like super simple that they wrote. If they just put something like, that looks great, you don't have to write like a whole essay to respond to that. Just put a little like on it. Or if they did send you like a DM, make sure you send the time to send them something back. I know some people even do like voice messages. If that's easier for you, you can always do that as well. Or like a video response. But basically, great posts will lead to steady streams of engagement. So by highlighting your business and using these social media strategies, hopefully you'll be getting more comments, you'll be getting more direct messages, people will be reaching out. It's good to, again, kind of set time each day to respond to people who have commented on or liked your posts. And kind of think of it as each post is an opportunity for business. So even if it is something personal that you're putting out, you're putting it out with the intention that someone will see it and hopefully relate to it, build that connection with you. I know there's like this term influencers now, and it's literally a job for some people, that what they do is they post content in efforts to relate to people so that they buy the products that they're promoting. And it's, if you notice, if you go to these people's pages, they respond and like to like every single comment because it's literally their job. That's what they do. And by doing that, it helps these people that are commenting, so all their followers, it helps the followers almost feel like they know this influencer, like they know that person. I'm sure you guys are probably following people too, that you kind of see what they're doing. I know who's like a big public figure. I feel like Taylor Swift's really big right now. So if you see her like posting things, I'm trying to think of like maybe a smaller celebrity. She probably has her account run by people, but like, yeah, like a smaller celebrity or like influencer, they're the ones that are responding personally to these things. And it makes you feel like maybe you almost know that person, you know? You're getting to know them on a more personal level because they responded to you, or because they're posting about this thing that you relate to as well. So a good thing is, again, to kind of just set aside time each day to kind of go back and check. I usually like to, if I post something, I'll check maybe like an hour later, see if anyone's responded, and then spend time just responding to those. And then again, like on the next day when you do your general social media time. So can someone give me an example of why it's important to acknowledge when other people comment or like on your post? Maybe share a time that someone commented something nice for you.
I feel like if you don't acknowledge their post, eventually they'll just stop like engaging, you know? Sometimes people don't like to just be left on scene or not like engaged with. So if they're commenting on your post a couple times and you don't respond or engage, then eventually they'll be like, oh, he doesn't respond. They'll just stop like engaging altogether.
Yep, exactly. And if it even gets to that point, they might even just unfollow you. They're like, well, you're not like engaging with me. I'm trying to reach out to you. What's the point of like following you? So it's a good
Yeah.
example.
I'll just add on and say it makes you seem more friendly the more you engage and comment back. Makes you like more open.
Yeah, thanks. Especially in this industry, you know, your job is to be that people person. If you're not responding to their comments online, how can they expect you to respond to them if they're in a transaction? You know, it's something that they're gonna think of, believe it or not, like, oh, he never responded to the direct message that I sent him. If I need him during a transaction, how am I gonna get a hold of him? You know, so just being aware of that is really good. And it's also kind of like an algorithm thing as well. If, you know, the social media platforms, so like if Instagram and Facebook, for example, see that your post is being interacted with a lot, so you're getting a lot of likes, you're getting a lot of comments, it's going to kind of push your post out to more people. Because in the algorithm's mind, if people are interacting with it, that means it's a good post. So you want to add to that engagement by replying to the people on there, because it's showing that you're active, you're using the platform. And Facebook, Instagram, all these social media platforms, they want to promote people who are using their product, which is the social media website. So if you're using it a ton, if you're getting a ton of engagement, they're going to push you up higher on other people's feeds, whether it's your followers' feeds or people that don't even follow you yet. There's, I forget what it's called, but it's like a highlights page. That's people that the algorithm is suggesting to you that you might like based off of the engagement that you've done. So based off the comments, likes, follows that you have. So those people that are commenting and engaging with your posts, you're going to show up on their highlights if you have a lot of engagement, if you're engaging too. So that's always good to know as well. And then we have adding value. This is always good in general, but especially when it comes to social media. Because when you navigate the online world, it's important to find communities where you can offer a unique and valuable perspective. At the end of the day, people want to see value in things. You know, you're not really, sometimes you might go like on an endless scrolling time, but most of the time you're on someone's page, you're on a website, you're doing something that will help you get the information you need. You're looking for an answer, or you're looking for ideas or something, but something of value basically. So through Facebook groups, for example, and different types of communities online, you can offer value to literally thousands of people. It's good to spend time to find the right communities that you can be a part of and take the time to really learn, you know, what kind of value are they looking for? And that time investment will be well worth it once, you know, you see people coming to you as a resource. So I've seen on Facebook, for example, there's a ton of new to this city groups, you know, so if you're new to Hillsborough, I keep seeing Hillsborough because I'm up here. I've seen a lot of new to Hillsborough posts. So when I first moved here, that was something I was looking for because I want to know, you know, where are the cool places to go, what events are happening, You know, is there any neighborhood or city specific things that the city of Hillsborough does for the people who live here? There's also a ton of real estate groups too. So even if you want to think of it as something more on the referral side, it doesn't have to be a group where it's potential clients. It could be a group where there's a ton of other real estate agents and you just want to connect with them personally. Reach out. Those referral groups are great because maybe you'll connect with someone on there. Turns out they're a realtor in California. You have a family member who is leaving there to come move up here. You can send them a referral, and guess what? They're probably going to send you referrals to anyone that they know that lives or is moving to Oregon. So it's a good way to not just, you know, reach out to clients, but add value on the real estate side of things with other realtors and get referrals. Is anyone already like a part of some online communities? Maybe just raise your hand. It could be anything. Okay, cool. So maybe just think of how you can add value to them a little bit more. So if you're just someone who tends to just look at all the posts, I think that's more what I kind of do. I don't really post a ton in groups, but maybe think about every once in a while, you know, this event's coming up. I think this group would like to know about it. Or even if you're not the type to post about it, comment on something that somebody else did, like the post. It'll get people seeing your name out there too. Or even just reposting things. So now that we went over a few strategies, does anyone have any ahas they want to talk about, or maybe questions about things we just covered? I think it's good to, because some of this stuff you might have known already, but it's will hopefully help you be a little bit more intentional about it. So maybe you're already, again, like you're part of groups. You do reply to comments. Maybe you do post stories about hyperlocal information in your neighborhood. It's good to just, you know, kind of refresh your brain with it and just think about from now on, how am I going to be more intentional about that? So we're going to talk about a few more strategies. So with this one, when you're posting a lot on social media platforms, it's important to be authentic. So when you're authentic, people are more naturally drawn to you. You know, it's the authentic version of yourself that people want to see, and that's who they're going to want to do business with. They don't want to be in business with someone who's super salesy and only cares about the money, blah, 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 you know. You could be someone like that. Maybe you're very money motivated, but you don't have to show that on social media. Just show that you're someone who is authentic and cares about people. You want to help people. You know, you're in the people business. The whole thing is you connect with people. That's what you're great about. You're helping people transition in a really oftentimes stressful time of their life. There's so many things that go on when you're moving somewhere, and you want to help people have the smoothest transition possible. You want to be someone that they can come to as a resource, someone who has information, someone who like sympathizes with them. It's good to be authentic in person, but also be authentic when you're online as well. Also, don't be a jack of all trades. This kind of goes with, again, there's so many social media platforms. It's not worth it to spend all the time on every single one of them. Pick like 2 or 3 that you're interested, that you like, that you know people in your database use, and get good at those. Spend time on those. If you have maybe a lot of older people in your database, chances are Facebook probably is going to be one of the main ones for you. If you have a bunch of millennials or Gen Z, I feel like they're more on Instagram. So kind of think about who your audience is, who is in your database, who do you want to work with, and be on the platforms that they're at. You want to reach people where they are instead of, try to get them to come to where you are, because that's a lot harder. And again, if you find a platform that you don't like, you're not going to use it. There's no point. Find one that you like, that you enjoy using. I keep mentioning Facebook and Instagram because they're super easy. They're also combined now in a way because they're both owned by Meta. So it's really easy to just go on one platform and post to both. So that's one, if you don't have any or you're just starting out, I think starting with Instagram and Facebook is probably the best step. Also, don't be afraid to embrace videos. That's super big right now, especially with TikTok. It's like the newest social media platform. People are posting videos all the time on there. Instagram and Facebook even kind of is like ripping off TikTok in a way, but they started their own thing called Reels. So they saw how well TikTok was doing with the videos, and they decided, hey, let's add this to our platforms. Videos are a really easy way to come off as more authentic and show who you really are, because you're talking to the camera, or maybe you're doing a voiceover and people just hear your voice. It makes them feel like a better connection than just seeing something like letters on a screen, They're hearing what you sound like and how you interact. Thanks, Brianne. Let's see. It's also a great way to engage users, both passively and actively. Posting a video, it could be kind of like what April said earlier about the weather, like do's and don'ts, how to prep your house for bad weather. Maybe instead of just posting a quick thing, putting yourself and doing a little like checklist, like first you want to do this, and you can show them how to do what you're explaining. Show them how to like find their dryer vent or whatever. It's a really good way to kind of, have that up, and then people see it, but it's also going to live on your page. So people can go back to it anytime they need. I'm definitely someone who, I'll use TikTok and I'll save like recipe videos where they show you how to make it, because I'm a very visual person. Or I'll go to YouTube and I'll search up like a how-to video of doing this. And watching those videos helps me, with what I'm trying to do. And I know that it's a good resource. And sometimes I'll even like follow them just because of that. I like that one, and they have other videos that I'll probably like. So that's a good way to kind of think of it as well. Be that resource, that info, that expert real estate agent for your people. Even too, like talking about the market, like what's happening. It could be, again, it doesn't have to be you talking in front of a screen. It could be you doing like a voiceover and going over like images or something. And then we also have using analytics to optimize your posts. So using diagnostics and analytics to optimize your posts in the sense that, you're doing these things, you're taking the time to do the activities. What are the results essentially? How many likes are you getting? How many comments are you getting? Maybe you notice that people really like the posts where you're doing the videos, you're talking to them, through the screen, but you're not getting a ton of engagement on posts about, I don't know, an upcoming event. This one specific event isn't getting a ton of traction. Okay, so now people like videos. Maybe if I still want to promote this event, I can do it through a video format and see if that'll get a little bit more traction. Or maybe that specific type of event people aren't really into, so maybe I'll do a different type of event next time. There's also a lot of social media platforms nowadays have like a built-in analytics tool. So I know Instagram and Facebook specifically, they have the business side profiles, and you can actually go ahead and look and see how many likes you got for the whole month, how many comments you got for the whole month, which, posts were the really popular ones. And it'll tell you right off the bat right there. So that way you can know that and kind of take that as information for the next time you're posting something, or for your next month, if you're doing like a content calendar. It's a good way to kind of gain insight into who's seeing your posts and at what time of the day. they'll tell you, they get really specific on some of these too. They'll say, you know, where your audience lives, like what area they come from. They'll say kind of like an age demographic. You're getting a lot of, maybe you're getting a lot more males versus females on your page, or the opposite. They even tell you what time of day that people in your sphere tend to be on. So they'll show you, oh, your followers are more active at night than they are in the morning. So that'll let you know, hey, I'm probably going to post more in the evening, maybe when people are off of work, like 6, almost like 6:30 time. That way, people who they get home from work, maybe they're on social media already, or maybe they have dinner and they get on social media afterwards. But chances are a lot of people use it to like wind down. So more people are using it at the end of the day. And that's something for you to know. So you can post when people are active. And the last one for this one is, don't be afraid to ask for help. Whether it's from a class, or maybe you're in coaching, or maybe another realtor here that you really admire and you see what they're doing and you are just inspired by them. Go ahead and ask the questions, and it's good to get that other perspective. And they can always offer, you know, suggestions on how you can kind of tweak things or refine your social media strategy. If you see something that's working for someone else, go ahead and do it yourself. That's like one of the easiest things to do. I know there's like a social media playbook in Command that you can literally go look through it, and it has pretty much what we're talking about and some. So it's good to kind of take ideas from people. If it's working for them, chances are it's probably going to work for you if you implement it the right way. So just being out there and open to help and receiving help. And then, yeah, also just want to highlight again that social media is kind of like a highlight of people's best selves. Most of the time, you're not going to be posting things that you're going through, hardships that are happening. And it's always good to kind of sprinkle in like a real situation every once in a while. If you're struggling with something, or you need help with something, people like to be of help and they like to support other people naturally. So if they see you that maybe you're going through something health-wise and you feel comfortable enough to kind of share that, people will probably respond nicely and they'll be there to support you. They'll want to check in on you. Same thing the other way. If you see someone posting about that, be that like person there for them. It's also good too to see just how they respond. Like if people actually reach out to you personally. A lot of times, if it is like a hardship or something, they might post something publicly, but chances are they're going to reach out to you personally as well. So it's good to, you know, post your highlights, be positive, but also be real, like show who you actually are, especially if it's something that is kind of public knowledge, like most people know about you, just post it. So now we're going to recap what we went over. We have our 10-5-1 engagement system. So again, we're going to daily set time aside to go like or love 10 posts. We're going to send 5 comments, and we're going to either post one original thing, repost, or send a direct message to someone. We also have our 80-20 posting system. So that's just going to remind us to make sure that out of every 5 posts, 4 of them are something personal, and 1 of them is something strictly business related. Again, you can kind of like mix, it could be a personal business post if you're kind of like strategic about it. Maybe you're doing an open house and let's say you're really into gardening. If the open house you're at has like a really great garden, maybe just posting something like that. Like, oh my God, look at this garden. And yeah, it's something personal about you, but it's also a little bit businessy, you know, because you're at an open house. So that's a good way to kind of get like a 2-for-1. And then there's also the above and beyond, where you're posting things about your community. You're being someone of service that can be a resource and helpful to your followers and the people that are in your database. Then we have our social media strategies over here, where we talked about, don't post and ghost. Make sure that when you post something, you're replying to the people who engaged with you. You want to add value, post things that people want to engage with, that people are going to learn something with. Something that they may screenshot and save and keep in their camera roll to reference for later. And then make sure to highlight your business as well. This is your business. You are your own brand. You want to highlight yourself, as well as, show what a good realtor you are. Get those client testimonials. If you don't have a ton of, transactions under your belt yet, get the people that you know and love that already have great things to say about you. Have them write some testimonials about your character and your work ethic and just how you are as a person in general. Have them write about how you respond super quick and you're always there in a time of need, because that's what your business is. Your business is to be there for people, to help them in one of the greatest, transitions in their life. So now we're at pretty much the end. We have some ahas. Does anyone want to talk about how they're going to be accountable for their 10-5-1 system? So how you're going to kind of implement this in your business? Maybe like set aside a time.
I might just block off like a time of the day, like an hour, and just do it, or set it on my command, like a task. That would probably keep me more accountable.
Yeah, perfect. I think, yeah, the key is just be more intentional about it and not just, because a lot of times you're going to do things naturally. So if you're the type of person who is using social media a lot, you might already be doing these things, but it's good, again, just to be intentional and give yourself that little tick box, check mark that box. So that way, it's something you did already and you're being more intentional about your business. All right. We also have, resources for you. Like I mentioned, there's a social media playbook in Command that you can check out that has a bunch of info, relative to this and more. So reach out, ask for resources, see what other people are doing, what kind of posts they're putting out, especially if it's ones that you see them getting a lot of engagement on. Be consistent. It's good. Like if you want to start doing something where maybe every Wednesday you post kind of like a market update, what's happening in the market. Maybe Fridays you post some events that are happening on the weekend. Get people interested and excited. I know there's a few influencers too that there's this one girl, I think her name's Michelle on Instagram, that she posts events that are happening in Portland for the weekend. And she's someone that I follow because I always like to know like what's happening, what's coming up. And that's something super easy that you don't have to create that video. You can just go and repost what she's doing and just post it on your story or something. Be like, hey, if you live in this area, check out what's happening. Maybe put like a little caption, oh, I'll be at this event this weekend. So being that resource and staying consistent is good too. Because building up that consistency, people are going to know kind of what to expect from the posts that you're putting out. Plus, it helps you as well. If you're the type of person who wants to plan it out ahead of time, you can create what's called a content calendar. So just telling you, we're going into October, literally tomorrow. You can spend time today or maybe early tomorrow and kind of write out a calendar for yourself. Okay, I'm going to post October 1st. I'm going to put happy October, blah, 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 Maybe on Friday, I'm going to post about all the pumpkin patches that are in our area and all the fall events. Maybe next Tuesday, I'm going to post about the trunk or treat client event that I'm going to be a part of. And I want to share that to my sphere. And then, of course, you know, on Halloween Day, posting a happy Halloween and like a clever little tag. Hey, you know, come trick or treating in the neighborhood, and, you know, make it relative to you, but also something just fun to post as well. So now we're pretty much at the end. This is just something to think about. So your ahas to achievement, kind of think about how your thinking's changed, what ideas or mindsets were new. If you knew something already, did you learn something that kind of, you know, confirmed that, you know, the way you were thinking was right? What do you feel differently about? What was meaningful to you today? So maybe you're not someone who's super social media savvy and you don't love posting all the time, but now after this presentation, you're thinking, okay, I don't have to love it, but I just have to be intentional about it. And I just have to, it's something that I'm gonna have to learn and get comfortable with. Thanks, Ashlyn. There's also kind of what behaviors will be different going forward. So how are you going to implement these systems? Or maybe this system or one of these isn't like exactly what you would want to do, and you have a different one. You kind of want to tweak it, make it yours. And then again, what tools, models, or systems will use. So kind of just what I said. And how will they make you accountable? So maybe you have an accountability buddy. Maybe you are the type of person who has like a checklist and you like checking those things off day by day. That's pretty much it. Do we have any last questions or ahas?
I have a question.
Yeah.
So would you recommend posting on multiple platforms or really focusing in on one?
I would probably recommend starting off with like Facebook and Instagram. So picking like two to three platforms, especially if it's ones that you already know and use. It'll be a lot easier using those. But I think Instagram and Facebook are definitely the most user-friendly if you're first starting off, especially because you can set it to where you can post on one and it'll go to both platforms.
Okay, thank you.
I know too, or sorry, somebody say
I
something?
also have a question.
Yeah.
It's about a basic standpoint that I need to take whenever I do 10-5-1 strat practice or 80-20 posting things. Should I be just a personal entity when I do something with them, or should I be more like a business entity, even if I post personal stuff?
Yeah. I think it should be like a little bit of a mix of it. Because you want to come off like you don't want to be that, you know, realtor all the time. You want to be just kind of like a human being at times as well. So kind of thinking about if it is a business post, yeah, put that post about, you know, the market and talk about, yeah, if you're interested in learning more about this neighborhood, you know, reach out to me, I'll help you, blah, blah. But if you're posting something maybe about your pet, don't really come from that business side, just come from, oh, look how cute my cat is, you know, or maybe just thinking about kind of the context of where you're going. So if you are someone in general, though, that is someone comes off a bit more formal and more professional, then you can keep that tone throughout, but just be aware of, I guess, the content of what you're posting. So, yeah, you can come off tonally, like keep a consistent tone, but just think about, is it a business post? Is it more of like, I'm trying to relate to somebody or share something about myself? And then just kind of go off of that.
I see. Thank you.
Yeah, April?
I've heard and I've used ChatGPT that you can basically just tell it what you want to post, and you can even put like make it outgoing, casual, business, like friendly or whatever, and it will like write you exactly what to post. And it includes hashtags and emojis, so it can make it very formal or informal depending what you want it to say back to you. But I've tried it and I really recommend it.
Yeah, that's super great resource. I've used it a ton too. But just, you know, it's so easy to like copy and paste. And in some instances you might be able to, but just be aware that maybe change it a little bit to sound more like something you would say or that would come out of your mouth, or just how you speak in general. That way it'll help you keep that consistent tone. But I think it's super interesting too, how, yeah, you can kind of give it like a tone, so it'll help you out that way. I've also seen people use it to get content ideas. You can literally put, hey, I'm a real estate agent. What are some social media topics that I can post about? And it'll give you like a full list of things that you can post.
Pinterest can be really helpful, and it'll give you like a weekly guide also on what to post on specific days. Yeah.
Yep. Those are the content calendar ones too. And they have like fun challenges sometimes. So there's a ton of resources. Yeah, just go out and look. It could even be on the platforms that you know and love and use already. But there's definitely a bunch of tools that make your life so much easier. Okay, and I think that's it. Any last questions? Are we good? We get thumbs up. Perfect. Alrighty. Well, thank you for coming out. The next session, or where is that? The next session is going to be the Capture More Leads. So you can go ahead and check that out. But that's going to be the end of today. So thank you guys for coming out.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
You too.
Thank you.
Thanks.